Welcome to this week's episode of My CP Does Not Define Me, where we focus less on the dis and more on the ability of what we can do. Join us every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, live on the Disability Global Broadcast and Facebook Live. Looking forward to seeing you there.
What's up, party people? It's D to the J with the roll away, and I am here. I am alive. I am kicking to some respect. So, I do want to let you guys know we do have Shana with us. She has to remove her camera because she's getting a treatment done that can't be seen on camera. So Shana is with us right now, and Shana is live with us. So, Miss Shana, how you doing?
Hello, everyone. DJ, how you feeling?
I'm here, sweetheart. I'm kicking, punching, biting, trying to just trying to get through today. Hope everybody is having a good Wednesday. I hope everybody is doing well. Um, I am, this is show 94. And I'm happy, that this is the last show before my month hiatus. So I'm excited. I mean, it's bittersweet, but so how are you feeling? I know a lot of things have been going on. I know I know this treatment takes a lot out of you. What's going on with you? You've been back for a couple of weeks now. You've actually been back for over a month. How are things?
You know what? I can't complain. I'm a lot better than I was before. So I keep a licking and keep on ticking. So I
Mm-hmm.
feel good overall. A little tired as usual. Well,
Mm-hmm.
because of the treatment, tired. But you got to keep on going. I can't let it stop me. So, hey, it is what it is.
So, for those of us who are just coming in, fill us in on what happened with your break. That you had to take, and that's one of the reasons I wanted to have you on the show is to kind of talk about the break that I'm getting ready to take. Someone asked me why am I taking a month long break, um, and basically it's one of those things where dang, I ain't even start the radio. Let me. Whew, well, whew,
That's why you need to take a break.
yeah, sorry about that. Started the radio a little late. Y'all coming in about 4 minutes after. Yeah, but we got Miss Shana Thomas with us right now. So kind of go through what were the reasons that you had to take the break. You were going through a lot, and just talk to us about what happened.
Yeah, well, the reason why I put a break is because, sometimes you may get burned out or you may be doing too much at one time and not realizing that you starting one thing but not finishing another, then you jumping on to something else, and then eventually you find yourself like, what am I doing? Well, that's how I found myself. And then
Was it like too much on your plate? Was it what kind of thing was it?
it was more of things going on at home, me now being more independent, which I wasn't before. So I had to learn more on my own with being more independent. I had a terrible experience with caregivers. Let's see here, that not knowing if I want to move or stay where I'm at, we had to deal with that. And then I also had to deal with, I have a 16 going on 17-year old driving school, uh, working on lip gloss, crocheting. And I had to really take a break and step back and realize, how can I tell my friends, the people that watch me doing the Sunshine on Wheels, to take time for yourself, to be organized, to make sure you are together before you do anything else. And I'm not doing what I'm telling them to do. So I
Right,
feel myself
right.
being a little bit of a hypocrite.
Mm-hmm.
So
So,
that's
so,
why.
so was it more kind of the juggling the schedule of life, or was it having too much on your plate, or was it a little bit of both?
It was both. It was both. Getting introduced to something new by my mom not being here all the time, so I need to learn how to do more things for myself.
Mm-hmm.
without having to have my mom depend on all the time. And then you having caregivers and you thinking that you can trust the caregivers to do what they're supposed to do to help you while they're in your home. But then again, it's really not the case. They start off one way and then it ends up being something totally different. So it was just a mixture of everything.
Cindy says maybe we should call Shana the new Energizer Bunny. Cindy, I agree. I'm gonna tell you because Shana definitely got it going on now. My gracious, all the stuff she got going. Let's talk about the mom not being there thing. We did mention that on a couple of shows ago. Is that a newfound freedom for you in itself because you're learning things that you didn't know before?
Uh, yes, it's not that I'm learning things I didn't know before. I actually knew those things, but since I've always had my mom here to do them, I didn't think that I needed to do them. But now I had to learn and realize that if something was to happen to my mom today or tomorrow, or either my father, even though we're not as close as my mom and I are, but if something was to happen to either one of them today or tomorrow, I need to learn how to fend for myself. And I wouldn't know how to do that if they're always, around doing for me. So yeah,
Right. I mean, but you talked about I think it was it paying a bill for the first time and having the freedom to go do that? Talk a little
yeah.
bit about that.
Yep, my thing was okay, I gotta pay my bills. So call mommy, I need you to go and get my money orders. I need you to go and do this. I need you to go and do that. And then it's like, not anymore. I can't call mommy. So if
Hmm.
I got to take Link Mobility, which is a mobility service here in the county that I live in, if I got to take them, I have to schedule that a week in advance. And I'm like, oh my gosh, it was so much easier just to have my mother to do it.
Hmm.
But
Hmm.
now, no, 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 Missy, you got to get up and you got to have it done yourself. So that part of life.
So, you're learning a new level of independence with
Hmm.
transportation. You're learning a new level of independence with yourself of how to get things done.
Yes.
So does it string you along more, or do you have to drop some things and keep some things? How do you determine what you really want to do?
You be organized. Learn to organize things. And I now know that I can't do it all. So I
Hmm.
prioritize and organize things that is important to least important. And I work it from that way.
How are some ways that you learned to organize yourself? What are some steps that you took?
I'm using that calendar a lot in my phone. I got my calendar in my phone. I'm communicating more as far as with the children, what we have to do, what has to take place. If we have appointments and things like that, I'm scheduling those by myself. I'm going to those with the children because before, especially during the pandemic, when
Hmm.
I couldn't go out because of my immune system, I'm prone to catch anything and
Hmm.
everything under the sun. And my body is not like everyone else. It's not that normal. Like a
Right.
common cold could be pneumonia. So my mom had to step in, especially during the pandemic, to pick up on the things that I couldn't do, especially if it's going out grocery shopping or
Hmm.
if it's taking the children to this appointment. So she stepped in to do that. And I've had, like, my cousin, he helped my son, taught my son how to drive his first part of how to drive and all that stuff. So I had people in place to do a lot of those things for me, but now that's not the case.
So going back a little bit, I mean, when all that was happening, and I don't mean to ask this to be disrespectful or weird or anything like that. Did you feel left out at a time when those things were happening and you couldn't be part of it because of the pandemic?
No, I didn't feel left out at all. I didn't feel left out because I guess that communication thing. We did the FaceTime and at the doctor's appointments and things like that, or the
Hmm.
grocery store. So I didn't feel left out. It's just that I wasn't physically there.
So you actually would FaceTime at the appointment. You would actually FaceTime at the grocery store, that kind of thing.
Yes,
So
absolutely.
so again, there's a way right there if you think about it okay, yeah, we got the pandemic, and some of us can't be out. Some of us can't be where we want to be. Some of us can't be at the appointment where like we'd like to be. FaceTime it, Zoom it,
Mhm.
StreamYard it. You've got the options. Technology has given us the options to video chat and make sure it's okay with the doctor and say,
Mhm.
listen, so and so can't be here, but he or she wants to be. Let's make sure that we include the family members that need to be included so we know what's going on, so you don't have to go through the rigmarole of wondering and feeling left out,
Of course.
because we're already isolated enough. Would you agree?
Absolutely, absolutely. And what I love about my children's pediatrician office is that when they know my mom, she's emergency contact, they know everything. But every time it was an appointment or a dentist appointment, they would actually call, is it okay, Miss Thomas, for your mom to be here? Yes, would you like for us to FaceTime you so you could be in on the meeting with us? We can send you a
See,
link.
now, see, to me, now that means that the doctor's office is taking the extra step
Hmm.
to quote unquote go that extra mile, and a
Yeah.
lot of doctors' offices won't do that because they're get the patient in, get the patient out, you know, all of that, and it's about, because time is money, and everything now with gas prices going up and grocery stores going up and items going up, ain't nothing cost the same no more.
Mm-mm.
I mean, does it make you feel good to have a doctor's office that wants to go that extra step for you?
Yes, it feels excellent. And I'm not sure if it's because they know my situation. Let me tell you, everybody knows my situation. Pediatrician, dentist, the children's specialist, like everyone knows the allergist. Everyone knows my situation and they know how things are at home. So if they see my mom, they know that I'm not able to make it and they call to invite me in on what's going on. So it's a good thing.
Now here again, you talked about communication earlier, and we're talking about that right now. That is so important that all the doctors know, not just the pediatrician, the dentist, the allergist, the healthcare specialist, the gynecologist, all that stuff, because it's related and it's a medical team of people. And if the right hand doesn't know what the left hand is doing, you're hurting yourself
In the long run.
more than more than you're helping yourself.
Absolutely.
So do you? I mean, and with polymyositis, I mean, you have to have a good team of doctors. Now they've had to, from what you shared with me, they've had to adjust your medicine and do a lot of things with that. So how's the some of the adjustments going?
Okay. It's a little bit. Sometimes I might not know if I'm coming or going, or I
Mm-hmm.
want to do a lot, and because of one medication through the IV, which is prednisone, and
Mm-hmm.
once that part is over with, look, I'm on the IV with the prednisone alone, 2.5, almost 3 hours. That's
Mm-hmm.
just prednisone by itself. And when after it's done, it's like I want to be Superwoman. I want to fly. I want to just keep going, 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 going,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
it gives me that burst of energy. But then after a while, I wind down because now it's the IVIG part of it, and I have
Mm-hmm.
to take Benadryl to prevent me from having an allergic reaction. You got to get vitals taken every 15 minutes. You have to also keep an eye out on me so nothing won't happen with my throat and things like that because of it. So it's a lot when it comes down to it.
Now I didn't think they were doing the prednisone anymore.
No, no prednisone anymore. Prednisone stopped last month. This month, no prednisone.
Mm-hmm. So that part is done. So is this just the IVIG?
Yes, this just the
Mhm.
IVIG. Give me another month, then I can tell you if I feel a difference without having the prednisone.
Yeah, because I think you had to kind of restart because of some things that went wrong with the insurance and all that. And
Mhm.
again, handling that yourself is totally different when you don't have anybody to step up to bat for you, so to speak. I mean, it's that's rough.
Advocate for yourself at that point. when you have your, I have a doctor that's doing his job, and he puts the paperwork in December because he know what they're going to go through in January, but they have
Mm-hmm.
an issue with him submitting the paperwork in December because it doesn't have the year 2022 on it. So
Mm-hmm.
therefore we're going to deny it. But he was trying to prepare and be ahead of it because he knows this is what happens every year with them.
Do you feel that I mean, now that you've gone through it, all of this, do you feel that you're more of an advocate for yourself?
Absolutely.
I mean,
Yes.
I mean, can you describe the feeling of what's different now? I mean, maybe with having to advocate for yourself.
Now I feel as though that I can do anything, and I don't have to accept no for let no be that final answer for
Mm-hmm.
me.
Mm-hmm.
Depending on the situation, I don't have to accept that no. And like my mother say, is more than one way you can skin a cat. So
Mm-hmm.
if you're not going to do it, that means I'm going to go over top of your head and find out somebody who can. And if they can't do it, get me in touch with the CEO, and me and him going to have a talk then.
So you're
So
gonna climb to the top until you get the answers that you need, and I think that's fair because I think when we get something denied, I think a lot of us think that's it, it's
yeah,
over.
that's it. Yeah.
Insurance companies will deny things on purpose because
Mhm.
they don't want to pay for them,
Mhm.
and that's not a lot of things that some people know that some people don't. Insurance companies with medications and things like that require prior authorizations from doctors, and then they deny them so that they have to do more paperwork. So people need to prepare themselves for that denial.
Mhm. Yes.
Yeah, I just it would be a lot easier if the doctors submit it once and that's it, but it doesn't work like
Work
that.
that way. Yeah, that you would think that would be that's much common sense to us, but that's not how it works.
Well, and that's that goes back to kind of what we talked about. With Will's talk, you're going to hear 1,000 no's before you hear that yes. But to get what you want, you've got to keep pressing. And,
You
and
gotta
it's
work
not, we're not talking about being aggravative and all that because you're going to get more flies with honey than you are with vinegar. But in the same sense, it is frustrating, and people do get mad, and people do get upset. And I mean it's one of those things where it becomes an issue. JP says this: insurance will often decline. It's cheaper to pay for things it's cheaper to pay for things than it is to pay for the lawsuit that will result from them not paying. But see, they don't want it to go that high, JP.
hmm
That's what we were just saying. They're going to deny and not pay for it because it's cheaper to deny it and not pay for it and say you don't need it, and then they get the doctor's notes and all that stuff in there, and if you fight it and you know how to fight it and you keep fighting it, they're going to collapse because they will eventually there will be a lawsuit and eventually it will go that high.
Yes.
But that has to be the point that people are willing to go, because if you're not willing to fight for your advocacy, what are you really willing to fight for?
Exactly. In that case, you're just gonna let anything go by and let it fall to the wayside. And sometimes, if that happens, you feel as though that you don't matter. So what's the use in keep on fighting if they're going to keep on denying? You keep on fighting. You keep on let them deny. You keep on fighting. Don't give up. Do not give up because that's what they want you to do. Because 9 times out of 10,
That's
they don't
what
want to
they're
do their job.
exactly. That's what they're trained to do, and to tell you they're going. And a lot of times, Social Security is the same way. They will tell you they're going to deny it. Be prepared for the denial, but push it through again because, and it does look. And there are a lot of disabilities out there that they will fight for children, but then once the children get of a certain age and they become adult, they stop fighting. And this is kind of what we run into where it's a constant. As an adult, we have to realize there are things that we need. There are things that we have to have. And the
hmm
doctors are going to make that happen. But the insurance companies are going to deny it because it does cost and they do have to pay higher amounts. And you have to be willing to go that extra mile and to advocate for yourself. The best advocate that you can be is the advocate for yourself.
Absolutely.
And know that there are lawyers out there that take cases pro bono. Know that there are lawyers out there that you can talk to, and there are advocacies out there that you can talk to. The legal aid is a great asset to talk to because you can get counsel, you can get advice on what to do. They will send you the forms, they will send you what you need, they will get you in the right directions. And often you don't have to go to court because companies don't like to go to court like that, especially when they're having to fight.
Absolutely right. They don't want to spend that money.
You were saying, Shana?
I said absolutely right. They don't want to spend that money.
They have those high price lawyers, but it doesn't mean that they want to use them. They don't want to go to court and have to deal with all that stuff. So have you? I mean, have you ran into a lot of the? Are you running into a lot of the denial now? Or are you able to get what you need?
No denials now. Everything so far so good. It's smooth sailing right now. But I'm quite sure something to come up along the way that may have to fight for. But as of right now, everything is smooth sailing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So I mean, and during the time of smooth sailing, what do you do to keep yourself? I don't know if happy is the right word because there are bumps in the road. There are times where it doesn't go smooth sailing. So what do you do during the smooth sailing times versus the times that aren't?
Uh, Still continue to pray, whether it's good, doing the bad, you still pray. I continue to pray, continue to be positive, uh, do whatever I need to do that's important at that time and get it done and just go from there. And don't worry about what I can't handle. Just do what
Mm-hmm.
I can and let it go from there.
Well, and I think a lot of people are they want to worry about what they can't control. Worrying about whether they deny it or whether they approve it up to the point
Hmm.
of it being done. That doesn't matter.
Nope.
You
Just
know
do your part.
that time that passes is going to pass regardless of whether or not they approve it or deny it. But when you have your ducks in a row and when you have your paperwork and you have that doctor that is willing to go the extra mile, and that's again the importance of the medical team that's willing to go to fight for you all the way around.
Yeah.
It's important to have the letters of recommendation, and for a doctor to write a letter of medical necessity is something that a lot of people don't know about. A letter of medical necessity tells the doctor or the person or the specialist or the people that you're trying to get the equipment from why this equipment is needed. And your physical therapist and occupational therapist, if you have them, need to be in the loop also. Don't
Absolutely.
don't leave your physical and occupational therapist out high and dry because they have those too, and you can have more than one letter of medical necessity from more than one specialist.
And you know what I've learned, DJ, throughout this whole process of living with my disability? I've learned a lot from like my physical therapist and my occupational therapist is that you got to watch how you word things with that paperwork. It's the wording of it all. And
Mm-hmm.
I've experienced one time when I fractured my fibula and tibula back in what 2018 and
Mm-hmm.
we had to get a Hoyer lift. So they gave us a manual Hoyer lift and the physical PT and OT say if there's something going on in the house and if your children are home with you and no adult is there, how do they expect for the children to get you out of the house if it's an emergency?
Mm-hmm.
So we waited, and so my PT and OT got a letter together to send to the insurance company stating that we can't use this manual because of this situation and because she has younger children. At the time, they were younger. And in case of an emergency, if the house is on fire, they can't get their mom out in time. Guess what? We need an electrical pull your list for her.
And you've got to look at things like that, and that's again, that is important. The wordage is very important of how it works and how it goes. And they will deny based on one word not being proper.
Absolutely. And if you don't have that medical team that's willing to go that extra mile for you, that's willing to do the work with you, you are screwed a little, but a little. But I'm blessed to have a team that really cares, that calls me on the phone. It's not even an appointment. They're calling to check on me. I have I have a doctor who my mom, we have his cell number. He doesn't live too far away from my aunt, so it feels good to know that I have a team that is really here for me, especially during the times that I need them the most.
Well, and when you get, and a lot of doctors won't do that now. They won't give you their personal cell phone number. Now, my doctor that I had for 10 years, she did that, and I could call her, and I probably only called her, twice the time, that she was my doctor, but it was great to be able to have that lifeline if you need it, and if you have a question to say, hey, I'm really confused by this. Can you help me? This is a point where, because I'm getting ready to meet with a new doctor on the 5th because Dr. Perry left, and I like Dr. Perry very much. It's very difficult for me, and I'm nervous because I'm going to have a new doctor and have to go through all this again of meeting her and wondering how she's going to be, how she's going to act, how what is the mesh between the two of us. How are we going to be? Is she one of those doctors who's going to be a know-it-all and not let you say anything? You've got to be prepared to understand. What are you willing to go through? Is she
Absolutely.
is she a fit for you?
Right.
You
Well,
know,
thank God I haven't had to have any new doctors. If anything goes wrong with me, we'll call the specialist and he'll let the hospital know, hey, I have Shana Thomas. She's coming in through the emergency room, and they'll go from there. So anytime anything goes wrong with me, I go to this one hospital and he calls to let them know, give them a heads up that I'm coming, and we go from there.
hmm so now I'm at you've gotten kind of, you got your break, you're back in the saddle again.
Hmm.
You're doing your shows, you're doing Sunshine on Wheels again, you're doing Wheels Talk, every other Tuesday. How are you keeping things organized? How are you deciding what has to go and what doesn't? What kind of new things are you doing? What are you preparing for?
Okay, I'm preparing for, like right now, I book people to be on the show all through the month of April and through the month of May, but in starting in June, instead of doing every Saturday, I'm going to do every other Saturday to give myself a break, to give myself time to come up with new ideas for the show. So that's why it's every other Tuesday, every other Saturday, whatever I'm doing is not going to be a every week thing. It'll just be an every other week, which allows me to give time to do work on orders if I have orders to do. Allows me to come up with new ideas. Allows me to make time for teaching my son all the extra things he needs in driving. So yeah, allows me to do that things that I need to do
Do
without
you
having to take a break from everything.
do you think that going to every other Saturday and every other Tuesday, do you think that helps prevent you from getting burned out?
Yes, it does. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, because I get antsy, I get anxious. Oh, it's Saturday already. I gotta go. I gotta go. I gotta do this. It's Saturday again, or it's Tuesday again. I gotta. But
I don't know. I don't know if this is my 94th show. It would be my 95th, but I don't know if I'm technically burned out. I'm tired, but I don't. I enjoy doing it every week. But again, it all depends on what the schedule permits. I could see where. Christina and Kyle have every other Saturday. You're going to
yeah,
have every other Saturday starting in June. But you're also doing, two different shows.
Yes.
So or we're also doing two different shows because we had, Will's talk when um, before you took your hiatus, and when you have a lot that you're juggling, being a mom and a teenager that's driving, and high school and college and this and that, and
Correct. Yeah.
there are a lot of things that you have to let go, and it's okay to let those things go, but it doesn't mean that you can't come back to them.
Okay, there you go. There it is. I had to understand and accept the fact that it's okay to take a break. It's okay to come back to it. Don't worry about who doesn't like it. Don't worry about if they're going to be upset and mad with you. Just know that you had to take that time to get you in order and you come right back to it. That's it.
Well, and it's kind of like, it's kind of like Worth the Wait cooking with DJ Carter. I've been doing cooking shows on Facebook, but I haven't been putting them on my YouTube. I've kind of got myself in a situation now where where I can do that. But when you have, three YouTubes to manage plus an album, there's not a lot of time, and I'm already scheduling out, my time thanks to Miss Wilson for all that, and I've already got my time scheduled out, but I'm doing more and more, and there's more involved with you because when you branch out and you start pushing your horizons a little bit, you find out what you can really do, and where you have to say, okay, enough is enough.
Right.
We're at the point where we've got to step back a little bit. Okay, this is too much on the plate. It's okay to realize what your main things that you want to do are. I love the fact that when people say, listen, I want to do this, this, and this, but I've got to sacrifice some things.
Mhm.
Sacrifices have to be made sometimes, and that is okay.
Yes. Absolutely right.
And I love the fact, going back to your crocheting, one of the things that got you started was strengthening your hands. And I keep listening to this, and I've seen some of the beautiful work that you've done with handbags and hats and scarves and mittens and gloves and shoes. And I swear, I bet you could crochet to Carnegie Hall if they let you. I just, but to me, and I go back to this, you started it just to strengthen your hands.
Yes, that's all it was for. That's all it was
And,
for.
and,
Nothing
and
else.
look at what it's blossomed into now, Shana. Look at what you're able to do now with the crocheting.
Yes, what 6, 7 years later? Yes, look at it. Yes.
And that that goes to show that old saying, good things come to those who wait. And you've pushed for it, you've worked for it, and that's a hard, crocheting ain't easy. I mean, you got to knit one, curl two, and up and under, and rotate and all that. I know, no. Look, I'm gonna work with my cooking and my singing and my karate. That's it.
I know how to count, subtract. Yeah, I know
Mhm.
how to do it all. Yeah.
Now, that's the other thing I want to talk to you. Let's talk about a little bit about the management side. You don't only have your crocheting, you have Spark a Kiss too.
Yes.
How do you manage your I don't know if you're doing payroll, but how do you manage your budget side? How do you manage your stock side of your inventory and all that? Because I've run a business before. I know, you've got to have stock, and you've got to have this and this and products to sell and all that. How do you manage all that? How do you know when you're getting low? Does your children help you with that? How do you work with that?
Heck yeah. Let me tell you something. Before my caregiver, she would help me a lot. And I brought bins and things like that to keep everything organized and separated and
Mhm.
labeled and things like that. And then once she left, and then it was like the children, I keep a track of everything by writing it down. If you're on your computer, you on your phone, do a little spreadsheet. You keep a track. I keep a track of everything written down. And then once something is used, I make sure I go on the phone to give myself a note. I've used this. You need to order that. You need to order this amount. But what I've have learned so far now doing it is don't buy what you really don't need to use.
Mm-hmm.
So what I do is when somebody comes with an order, like I had the guy who came with 150 orders of lip gloss, 150 orders of the lip scrub. I had purchased the exact amount of everything that I needed without scrambling or without going over a budget for it. I had everything I needed because I kept everything intact of what I've needed and when I would need it and how much I would need to use of it. So yeah, you got to do your measurements and things like that so you won't be using too much or using too less. So yeah.
So do you have like an inventory program to tell you how much you have, or do you physically count it, or how do you work your inventory?
Well, what happens is my son set up Microsoft Excel for me. We did a spreadsheet. And then what I do is when I'm on my phone and I have everything on my phone of what I do, and whatever amounts of stuff that I have, I can go on my phone and I'll say, I'm using 50 tubes for lip gloss. And I
Mm-hmm.
deduct the 50 from there, and they'll let me know you only have 100 of them left. So there you go. Things like that.
Well, now the only thing I want to tell you, and this happened to my friend last week, her calendar in her phone blanked out, just totally the whole month, just blanked out, and she couldn't figure out why. Don't know if she hit a button. Don't know what happened. She never seen it happen before. Do you keep a manual record
Oh yeah,
of?
notebook. I have a notebook for everything.
Yeah, and I think you should, because pen and paper is valuable. And when I did stocking, and when I did for my graphic design business back when I had it, when I was doing business cards and stuff, I had to manage my ink, I had to manage my paper, I had to manage my printer, I had to manage all that.
Yes.
But keeping manual track in addition to your computer, keeping manual track of what you're doing is very important. And I think that if you stay on top of it, you can manage it.
Absolutely.
And you people aren't going to buy what they don't want, so it has to be attractive and pretty. And that's one of the things I love about what you do. Everything that you sell, everything that you market, everything that you do has a certain je ne sais quoi about it. It has that spice or that pizzazz. When you were advertising Spark a Kiss, you had them lips just out there every week, just different shades and different this. And I said, boy, she going for it. But you really do have to market what you want, and
Yes.
you have to market and promote your product to sell. And
And
I
you know
think
what I've learned, DJ, while you're talking about marketing and things like that? I've learned this year that I have to be my own billboard. So that means I'm going to start wearing and using my own product myself because I'm thinking like, do people really believe you're doing this stuff? You're not even advertising your own items yourself. So I had to wake up and realize I got to get into this now. I got to get out here and I got to promote my own self. And that means I got to put on my stuff. I got to wear it. I got to believe it. I got to know that it's good so I can share with others to have them believe and know that it's good.
being a walking, talking, rolling billboard to promote yourself.
Yes.
Right, 3 weeks, 4 weeks before my album drops, I'm going to be promoting that, left and right, because we have to get everything in order before we start promoting it. And the order has to come in and all of that. It's going to be, you got to fight for what you want. We were talking about the doctors and the paperwork and the chairs and the medical equipment. It's that same kind of fight in a business, because you got everybody out there that wants to tell you no, 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 I don't want. But you got to show them that they do.
Yes.
Okay? Because people will buy stuff. You got a vacuum cleaner salesman that goes door to door. And you don't see these a lot anymore. The vacuum cleaner salesman that sells the deluxe Vacuum 700 series, and it's got this part and this part, and it'll do this. That's why Home Shopping Network, all them people, HSN, show segments of jewelry and the things that they're selling, and vacuums and laptops and arcade systems. You've got to market
Yes.
what you want to sell.
Yes.
And your things, being a female, every female needs makeup. Every female needs lip gloss. Every female wants to smell good, look good, taste good, all that stuff. And when you put and when you put that in, and you make that as part of the package,
there you go.
You know, you get your Bath and Body Works and this, that, and the other, and the smelling good beads, and the lip gloss, and the shampoo, and the body wash. And if you order right now for $19.99, see, you got to get all that in there.
Yeah.
And what makes it is that good smelling. See, a woman that smells good drives me nuts. She walks by and perfume just drifting. And I'm just going behind them, not even realizing I'm following because I'm smelling the perfume that smells so good. Once you hit that point, once you get something that works, that old expression, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Okay? And women, and I'm gonna be honest, and I ain't trying to go nowhere with this on, I ain't trying to be perverted or nothing like that. Women know what women want. Okay? Understand, it takes a woman to know what a woman really wants. Okay?
Yeah.
Now the thing about it is, that's just like men, they like to look good. They like to have that money, the dress shirt, the dress pants, the dress shoes. Look, I usually dress up for every show. I didn't dress up for this one. But it don't mean that I can't get the point across and still look presentable enough to do my show. I've got to do what I've got to do, and I've got to make it rain when it comes to selling my product. Okay? If I don't push out there what I've got, and I don't sell my inventory, and I don't make it rain, and I don't make it look good, smell good, taste good, feel good, ain't nobody gonna want to buy it.
Nobody, and it's just gonna collect dust.
And you talked about being a walking, talking, rolling billboard. Let's go back for a minute. You talked about it. If you wear your stuff, your t-shirts, your hats, your necklaces, your purses, your pants, your shoes, all the stuff that's got your marketing on it, and somebody said, "Oh, that's so cute. Spark a kiss." What is that? That's that open door. That's that open door right there to be your own marketing consultant.
Yes. Free of charge.
And everybody wants something for nothing. Now here's what I realized.
Say that again.
When I started advertising that I was going to make a CD, everybody, can I get one? Can I get one? Can I get one? Yeah, when you pay for it. And I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna keep it clean. Money talks and BS walks.
All day long.
All day long. Okay. You can deny it as much as you want. Look, if I'm gonna work hard to make this product as good as I'm gonna make it, somebody gonna pay for it.
You gotta pay, yeah.
And you gotta believe in a person enough to know if they put their heart and soul into something, that's it. Right there. JP hit it, boy. It costs money to make money. Yeah.
Say that again.
Woo! Go ahead, JP. He said it costs money to make money. That's it.
Scared money don't make money. That's
look,
what it
look,
is.
I'm gonna tell you what. I can make it rain, but I can't make it rain without water. Okay? And water costs. Gas costs. Heat costs. Products costs. And once you get your inventory, you got to know how much you're selling something for, how much your markup is. You've got to know the business side, which a lot of people don't know. And I got to be honest, Shana, I like the way you do business. I'm telling you do business well.
Thank you.
I'm going to say it again. You do business, and that's why I say it, business. You do business well, okay? We out here on the Disability Global Broadcasting on StreamYard Live on Facebook. You make it rain. Now look, ain't nothing wrong. Shana, y'all, I know y'all can't see her face right now, but she's smiling. And she's very good at knowing how to market to people. And being, you know, everybody says, you know, DJ got the radio voice and he belongs on the radio and all this and got the voice for it. You have to have a niche or a knack for something to make it work. To make it really work for you, it's got to flow, and it can't be forced. When you sell something or when you present something, it can't be forced.
Yes.
Okay, because you can force it, but when you do, that's going to push the person away. Now, being forceful and forcing somebody to buy something, that's two different things. And I'm not trying to talk business ethics up here, but you got to have. It is very difficult to run a business by yourself. It is very difficult to be a sole proprietor and run a business by yourself.
I mean, eventually later on down the line, I know I'll need help because I want to see these things that I'm doing take off and go all around the world. I know eventually I'll need help because I believe that I'm going to be doing more than what I am doing now. I do know that, and I'm going to prepare myself for it because hey, here I got a legacy I have to leave behind. If I leave here today or tomorrow, I want to make sure that my children are set for life where they won't have to beg, borrow, steal, scheme, or anything because mommy left something for them just in case. So that's why I do what I do.
Now you notice what she did right there. You know, and it's funny because I'm glad she mentioned that because you know about a month ago before we got real close to dropping this album, Shana told me some things about my music. You know, I let her hear some stuff and she's like, oh, this is really good. You know, I think you should do this, you know, maybe try this. What about this? And we started kind of bouncing ideas off of each other about, you know, little things like cups and hats and buttons and shirts and promoting myself, but also promoting my product. And in listening to Shana, to hear somebody talk about something they believe in, and she's heard, you know, she hasn't heard all of my music, but she's heard, you know, quite a bit of it. We've sat for a couple of hours. I've made a logo for Shana and gotten paid for it, you know, and she made me realize and showed me that my work is valuable and I do good work because I will sit down with the customer and decide what they want. And you know, the same thing with the CD. It's got to look good. It's got to sound good. It's got to be packaged well. All of this. But Shana kind of went outside the box and we were talking about, you know, what do you want to do with it? You know, yeah, you can sign a picture. What about a t-shirt? What about a cup? What about a hat? You know, later on down the line, have you thought about where you want to go and how you want to get there? And you got to think big. You got to dream big to make it happen. And I love that, you know. But having somebody in your corner that sees things that you don't, that's a great test for vision. Having somebody in your corner that believes in you, because I believe in Shana the same way she believes in me.
But also, you got to have that same person that's not afraid to tell you, no, I don't think that's a good idea. Maybe you need to take a break and look back at it again. And then we'll come back and talk about it. Don't have friends that keep telling you yes, 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 yes. Have them friends that's going to tell you, no, that ain't working. Not today. Let's do this way. Let's come to an agreement on something. Just don't have those friends that keep telling you yes.
But in the same sense, don't let somebody talk about something they don't know.
Bingo.
If they're going to tell you that ain't going to work, tell me why.
You know what? No, I don't want. You can tell me why, and it's up to me to accept it. Mm-hmm. It's up to me. But sometimes it depends on who that friend is and how good of a friend that person is. Because, you know, you have some people out here that say that they're your friend, but will turn around and do the total opposite of what a friend's supposed to do.
Right. All they want is everything that you got.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
All they want. And that's one thing Shana is not. Shana's been in my corner. And I told Shana and I told Christina and I told, you know, a few other people about the album, first before I announced that it was going to happen on Facebook. But looking at, everything that Shana does, there's motive behind it. There's power behind it, and you gotta have a support group. You've got a support team, people to support you, because everything doesn't go right all the time.
Correct.
You're going to have those days and you're like, man, I don't know what to do. You're going to have those days where you're upset. You're going to have those days where you're angry, but you're going to have those days where you're happy and everything is great. But when you're in that moment of despair, or that moment of disbelief, or that moment of wherever you are, don't stay there. Don't
No.
stay there.
No.
Realize that this too shall pass and you're going to get to it.
Absolutely. And know your worth and don't settle for less.
The
Don't
one thing,
settle just because you want to make somebody happy. Don't do it.
Tiffany said this, mental health is definitely a huge part of having positive reinforcement. For a person makes a huge difference in someone's head, heart, and soul. When you've got somebody that speaks positive reinforcement into your life,
Mm-hmm.
but can also tell you in a way that doesn't bring you down when something is not working. If Shana says to me, DJ, I don't know about that, I'm going to listen. And I'm going to take that minute and we're going to talk about it. There are times I will call Shana and I will bounce an idea off her. She may say, you could do that. Have you thought of this? She's not saying my idea isn't going to work. Okay.
No, not at all.
But when I call it the Shana spin. Shana always has a spin on things that maybe I don't see. And it's not because I'm not thinking big. It's not because I'm not thinking big enough. It's because people, men and women, see things differently. That's why I like having Shana in my corner. I told Shana, when I make it big, I'm taking her on tour with me.
And I'm sweeping the panties off the stage. They might be some clean panties too.
But I weren't gonna say that on the air, Shana. We on the radio.
God's still working on me. Amen.
Shana, oh Lord Jesus. Shana gonna go with me when I go on tour. She gonna be my sweeper. That's all I'm gonna say. But I got about 8 minutes left on the show, real quick, and I just want to go through a couple of things. Shana, I have a segment that I've started, and it's called "If I Could" or "If I Would."
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, the way I want to do this, I'm going to phrase 4 questions.
Okay.
And I want to see what your answers would be. All right. If I had $1 million today, I would
pay off any debts that I have, set money aside for my children, help out someone that may need help.
If I could go buy anything I wanted and money was no object, I would.
I would buy an accessible vehicle, a big one for me to drive, and I can run over some people. Just kidding. I would buy a bigger home that's accessible to my needs. And once again, and you know what? I would take care of my mother and my father. So yeah, I would do all that good stuff with it too.
Okay. If I could change one thing I don't like about myself, I would.
I'm not changing anything. I love me today. And if don't nobody like it, they can kick rocks with no socks on. And make sure it's broken glass down there. I'm loving me. And it is what it is.
I'll take that. I'll take that. Finally, if there's one thing I want the world to know before I go, I would.
I would want them to know that I never gave up. I was determined. And even when it was good or bad, I kept on going. Okay. And if I could just help one person along the way, they don't even have to talk about it. But at least I know I did something right.
Okay. All right. Well, Shana, we got about 5 minutes left. Do me a favor, if you wouldn't mind, share how we can get in touch with you. If you want to share a little bit of your what you got going on business-wise, how to get in touch with your items that you're selling and doing. Let us know about Shana and how to get in touch with you.
Yes, you can reach me on Facebook at Shana Thomas, The Talk Show, Sunshine on Wheels on Facebook as well as Instagram. Zero Miss Sunshine 0428 Sunshine on Wheels on Instagram. YouTube Life of Sunshine on Wheels. I'm there. If you want lip gloss, Spark a Kiss on Facebook as well as Instagram. Email me sunshine on wheels with a Z at gmail.com. I'm here always.
All right, guys, I say this every time, but I will say it again. Most of my handles are My CP Does Not Define Me. YouTube, My CP Does Not Define Me. All of our shows are placed in every playlist, so you guys can go to YouTube. If you didn't get a chance to check out the full show with Shana, go back and listen to that. It's also on Facebook. I have YouTube at Cooking with DJ Carter, Worth the Wait, Cooking with DJ Carter on YouTube, and also Chairmaster Games on YouTube, all one word. You can search me there. Instagram, My CP Does Not Define Me. My blog is CarterDJ85 at Wixsite.com. I have Twitter, My CP Does Not Define Me at Minion Sports. You can catch us every Wednesday at 2 p.m. on YouTube, Facebook, StreamYard, and on the Disability Global broadcast. But I will be saying I will pick up after my tournament in June, the next show that will be done. Let me get my calendar pulled up here so you guys can know, because I'm going to have some new guests coming in and things like that. We will have the next show will be on, let me look here, June the 8th. June the 8th will be my next show. I'm taking a hiatus, and I'm going on vacation, so I'm taking a month to get things together, to get some new guests, and we are approaching show 100. Thank you, Tiffany. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it. Thank all my guests for being here. Thank you, Miss Shana, for being part of this. I know it was tough with IVIG coming on. We love you. And thank y'all so much. Shana, stay with me. As I always say, guys, you can catch me on every Wednesday at 2 p.m. on My CP Does Not Define Me on Facebook, YouTube, StreamYard, but we'll see you on June 8th. And as I say, if you can't be good, be bad, but be good at it. This is D to the J with the roll away, saying we'll see you on June 8th for My CP Does Not Define Me.
All right, everybody, that's going to do it for this week's episode of My CP Does Not Define Me. As always, you can catch us every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time on the Disability Global broadcast and Facebook Live. If you haven't already checked out our YouTube channel, My CP Does Not Define Me, we post all of the show videos in our My CP playlist. I'm your host, D to the J with the roll away. And if you can't be good, be bad, but be good at it. We'll see you next week.